The disappearance of Crystal Rogers is one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in modern American true crime. What began as a missing persons case in the quiet town of Bardstown, Kentucky, quickly evolved into a years-long investigation filled with suspicious behavior, unanswered questions, mysterious deaths, and countless theories. As investigators dug deeper into the case, they uncovered evidence suggesting that Crystal's disappearance was far from random. Over the years, the FBI joined local authorities, extensive searches were conducted, and multiple arrests were eventually made. Yet despite significant developments, one question continues to haunt everyone involved. What really happened to Crystal Rogers? The case has remained in the national spotlight because of its complex timeline, the people connected to it, and the determination of investigators who refuse to let the mystery fade away. Today we will talk about the Crystal Rogers mystery, a cold case that haunted investigators. So, before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Crystal Rogers vanishes without a trace. Crystal Rogers, a 35-year-old mother of 5, was last seen on July 3, 2015, in Bardstown, Kentucky, according to family members. Losing contact with Crystal was highly unusual because she maintained close relationships with her children and relatives. When she suddenly stopped answering phone calls and failed to return home, her family immediately became concerned. Days later, the investigation took a dramatic turn when her maroon Chevrolet Impala was discovered abandoned along the Bluegrass Parkway. The vehicle showed no obvious signs of a struggle, but investigators considered its location highly suspicious. Even more concerning was the fact that Crystal herself was nowhere to be found, transforming the case from a missing person investigation into one of Kentucky's most high-profile mysteries. Suspicion falls on those closest to her. As detectives began interviewing friends and family members, attention quickly focused on Crystal's boyfriend, Brooks Houck, who was reportedly one of the last known people to see her alive. Houck denied any involvement in Crystal's disappearance and has consistently maintained his innocence. Although investigators publicly identified him as the primary suspect years ago, no charges were immediately filed because authorities stated they needed stronger evidence. Detectives continued examining phone records, witness statements, financial information, and timelines in an effort to determine exactly what happened during the hours before Crystal vanished. A case filled with disturbing twists, the investigation became even more unsettling after another tragedy struck Bardstown. In November 2016, Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, who had tirelessly searched for his daughter every single day, was fatally shot while hunting with his young grandson. His death shocked the community and generated widespread speculation because he had been one of the strongest advocates for keeping Crystal's case in the public eye. Investigators, however, have said they have found no evidence directly linking Tommy Ballard's death to Crystal Rogers' disappearance, and his homicide remains a separate unsolved case. Even so, the timing added another heartbreaking chapter to an already devastating mystery. The FBI joins the investigation. Recognizing the complexity of the case, the FBI became heavily involved in the investigation alongside Kentucky State Police. Federal agents conducted numerous searches across Nelson County using specialized forensic teams, cadaver dogs, excavation equipment, and advanced investigative technology. Search warrants were executed at multiple properties connected to individuals involved in the investigation. Authorities repeatedly emphasized that every search was based on evidence collected throughout the years and represented another effort to locate Crystal or uncover additional forensic evidence. Although many searches did not immediately produce public answers, investigators insisted the case remained active and continued to move forward. Years of investigation finally produced major developments. For years, many believed the case had gone cold, but investigators continued quietly gathering evidence behind the scenes. In 2023, prosecutors announced significant arrests connected to Crystal Rogers' disappearance. Brooks Houck was indicted on charges including murder and tampering with physical evidence, while other individuals were also charged with crimes related to the investigation. Authorities alleged that Crystal had been killed and that efforts were made to conceal the crime. Houck pleaded not guilty, and under the legal system he remains presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. The indictments represented one of the biggest breakthroughs in the case since Crystal first disappeared nearly a decade earlier. the evidence investigators followed, although prosecutors have not publicly revealed every detail of their evidence. Court documents indicate investigators relied on years of witness interviews, cell phone records, forensic analysis, search warrant evidence, and testimony collected throughout the lengthy investigation. Detectives carefully reconstructed timelines, re-interviewed witnesses, and compared new information with evidence gathered during the earliest days of the case. The investigation demonstrated how modern forensic techniques and persistent detective work can continue producing leads long after a disappearance initially occurs. Officials have remained careful about releasing sensitive details publicly because criminal proceedings are ongoing. Why the mystery captured the nation, Crystal Rogers' disappearance became much more than a local investigation. The combination of an abandoned vehicle, conflicting accounts, years without answers, multiple high-profile searches, the tragic death of her father, and later criminal indictments transformed the case into one of America's most talked-about true crime mysteries. Documentaries, podcasts, and national news coverage have introduced millions of people to Crystal's story, while keeping public attention focused on the search for justice. Throughout the investigation, Crystal's family has consistently expressed hope that the legal process will finally reveal what happened and provide long-awaited answers after years of uncertainty. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.